The gentle rhythm of the rolling train weaves the night into a melody of calm and constancy. Raindrops dance against the window, tiny pearls of water sliding down, merging and blurring as if whispering quiet stories. It is one of those special nights, a night where the world outside fades into a soft darkness, where nothing hurries, nothing urges. The train glides through the quiet landscape while the rain taps gently against the glass, as if to reassure the travelers that all is well. Inside the carriage, the light is low and warm, casting a golden hush over the night. A sense of comfort lingers in the air, wrapping around the passengers like a soft embrace. The seats are plush, their fabric yielding slightly, and there is a faint scent of aged wood and freshly brewed tea drifting through the space. A woman sits by the window, nestled beneath a cozy blanket. Her name is Clara. She travels without haste, without destination, simply with the wish to be in motion for a night, without having to do anything at all. Her breath fogs the cool glass, and with the tip of her finger, she traces slow, delicate circles. Beyond the window, the world drifts by in blurred shapes. Small stations, darkened forests, and lonely roads disappearing into the night. Across from her, an older gentleman sits with a book in his hands. He turns the pages slowly, though it seems as if he is more lulled by the gentle sway of the train than by the words before him. He glances up briefly, offering Clara a kind nod, before retreating once more into his quiet world. The conductor moves leisurely down the aisle, his steps soft against the thick carpet. A polite smile, a small bow, and then he continues on. No one is disturbed here. No one is asked for anything. Everything moves, yet time itself feels as though it has paused. Outside, the rain still falls. The night train journeys on through the darkness, a serene oasis gliding along gleaming rails. Clara rests her head against the cool window pane. The steady motion of the train, the gentle patter of the rain, and the soft hum of the wheels on the tracks blend into a soothing melody. Her eyes drift over the passing darkness, catching glimpses of scattered lights flickering in the distance. A small house with a warm lamp glowing on its porch, a lone street light reflecting in puddles below. Somewhere further down the carriage, someone lifts a cup of tea to their lips. A quiet sip, a contented sigh. The air carries a delicate hint of chamomile and honey. It is a night of quiet, a night where nothing is expected of her. The older gentleman with the book has set it aside now. His eyes are closed, his head resting against the plush back of his seat. Perhaps he is already asleep, or perhaps he is simply savoring this rare moment of stillness. Clara closes her eyes for a moment, too. She feels the train's gentle sway, the quiet vibration that fills the air. The rain seems to come in waves, sometimes heavier, sometimes just a fine mist brushing against the glass. Its rhythm is steady, a soft lullaby pulling her toward sleep. The conductor returns, just as quiet as before. This time, he carries a tray with 2 small teapots and delicate cups. With a careful gesture, he sets one before Clara. She looks up, surprised, but he only offers a kind smile. "For the night," he says gently, as if his voice is part of the hush. Clara wraps her hands around the warm cup. The steam rises slowly, curling into the air before vanishing. It is a simple moment, yet somehow it feels special. The train continues on, deeper into the night. Somewhere in the distance, the soft call of a night bird echoes through the darkness. The rain plays its quiet song as the world drifts into shadow and dreams. Clara takes a small sip of her tea. Warmth spreads gently through her body, the soft taste of honey and herbs lingering on her tongue. She leans back, still cradling the cup in her hands, as if it were a tiny anchor in this endless, dreamlike night. Outside, the landscape drifts by in silence. The shadowy outlines of trees, rolling hills, the occasional village with houses tucked into sleep. The world beyond seems at rest, while the train steadily carves its path through the darkness. The faint squeak of the rails has become a familiar sound, a soft pulse blending with the steady rhythm of the rain. In the distance, a lonely railway crossing glows faintly. Its red lights blink slowly, rising and falling as if breathing in time with the night train. Clara feels her thoughts quiet. There is nothing to do, nothing to decide, nothing to accomplish. Just this moment, this breath, this tea warming her hands. A gentle sound draws her attention back to the carriage. The older gentleman stirs slightly, his eyes opening slowly. For a moment, he looks at her, then offers a kind smile. "Beautiful night, isn't it?" His voice is warm and low, as if he doesn't want to disturb the hush of the evening. Clara nods and returns his smile. "Yes, very beautiful, ba." The man takes a slow sip of his tea, his gaze drifting to the window. "I've taken this train many times," he says after a pause. "Always at night, always in the rain." Clara raises her eyebrows slightly. On purpose. A quiet chuckle. "Perhaps. There's something peaceful about it, don't you think?" Clara looks outside again. The rain, the soft lights, the muted hum of the world. She nods. "Yes. Very peaceful. But..." The words fade into the quiet, but the silence between them is comfortable. There is no need to fill it with more. Just the night, the rain, and the gentle sway of the train. Slowly, Clara lowers her head, her eyelids growing heavy. The tea has warmed her, the train has lulled her. Her thoughts blur, drifting like leaves on a quiet stream. And as the rain continues its gentle tapping against the window, Clara slips into a deep, peaceful sleep. The night drifts on, soft and unhurried, as the train glides smoothly through the darkness. The rain has settled into a fine, almost imperceptible mist, wrapping the world in a delicate veil. Clara sleeps deeply, her breathing slow and steady. The light in the carriage is low, casting gentle shadows on the upholstery, bathing everything in a warm, golden glow. At some point during the night, the train comes to a stop at a small, almost forgotten station. The platform is barely illuminated, just a single lamp casting a faint circle of light onto the damp ground. No one boards, no one departs. It is as if the train simply pauses for a breath, a quiet moment before continuing on its way. The older gentleman stirs slightly, his gaze drifting over the empty platform before he leans back again. A quiet, contented smile lingers on his lips. Clara shifts in her sleep, turning slightly to one side, though her face remains peaceful. Perhaps she is dreaming of the journey, of the rain, of the soft murmur of the night train. The conductor makes his way through the carriage once more, as quiet as a shadow. He glances at the sleeping passengers, gives a small, approving nod, and moves on. His task is not to disturb, only to ensure that everything flows smoothly, undisturbed. Outside, the train slips into a dense forest. The trees stand close together, their branches heavy with the dampness of the night. A small deer stands at the edge of the tracks, lifting its head for a brief moment, as if watching the train pass before disappearing into the darkness once more. Inside, nothing changes. The gentle warmth of the light, the quiet hum of the wheels, the lingering scent of tea, of sleep, of a journey that asks nothing of anyone. Minutes and hours flow by, weightless, like waves dissolving on a silent shore. And as the train moves on, carried by the hush of the night, its passengers sleep deeply and peacefully, wrapped in the soft embrace of the rain. The train continues its journey through the night, as if it were breathing in harmony with the rhythm of nature. The rain has now faded, though the sky remains heavy with thick clouds, drifting gently over the landscape like a blanket rocking the world to sleep. Clara still sleeps deeply, her hands relaxed around the cup she no longer holds. The steam from the tea has long since vanished, but the moment of stillness in which she remains endures. A soft smile touches her lips as if she dreams of something beautiful, a place where everything is simple. The older gentleman across the aisle has leaned back again, his hands folded gently in his lap. He too seems no longer present in the world of thoughts, but in a kind of soft floating that only the night can offer. There is no noise, no rush, no urgency. Only the train, the rain, and the peace of the hour. The clock above the aisle softly chimes the hour, a subtle sound that still carries the sense that time plays its own melody. And the train, this night train, keeps moving on without haste, without destination, only in tune with the calm that surrounds it. Suddenly, the lights in the carriage flicker briefly, then fade again. A gentle jolt moves through the train, and for a moment, it feels as if time itself pauses. Clara lifts her head slightly, blinking against the soft half-darkness, but the conductor is already walking down the aisle, and the train resumes its steady course. It's just a little pause for the rain. The conductor murmurs as he passes Clara, his footsteps light, almost unheard. "Don't worry," he says with a smile. "We'll be on our way soon." Clara nods softly and closes her eyes again. Her hand glides gently over the fabric of her blanket, and for a moment, it feels as if she, too, is becoming part of this quiet flow. Moving through the night, the minutes pass, and the rain begins once more, though now it is only a quiet murmur, turning the silence into a delicate song. The landscape outside is little more than a blurred image. Trees and bushes dissolve into soft, dark silhouettes. The train moves on through this mysterious world, where everything is so peaceful that one might almost forget time. And so, with each passing mile, the passengers fall deeper into sleep. Each breath, each soft rumble of the tracks carries them further, deeper into stillness, until the world around them becomes entirely quiet. The night is now deep and unhurried. The train moves along peacefully, as if it knows that the calm of this hour should not be disturbed. There is no rush, no hurry, only the soft rhythm of the tracks, the gentle tapping of the rain, and the sleeping passengers who drift ever deeper into their dream worlds. Clara breathes steadily, her body completely relaxed. Her thoughts have long since retreated into the vast realm of dreams, and she floats on through the night, carried by the gentle motion of the train. In her dream, the rain is a song she has always known, a soothing murmur leading her to a distant, peaceful place. The older gentleman has not moved. His hands rest calmly in his lap, and he too seems to linger in a dreamy state, as if he were part of the train itself. Perhaps he dreams of journeys long past, of nights like this one, when the world is quiet and safe. The conductor moves quietly through the carriage, his steps muffled, as though he merges with the night itself. He checks the windows to make sure they are secure, glances at the passengers, but disturbs no one. Each of them is immersed in their own peaceful world, accompanied by the soft hum of the train and the distant sound of the rain. The train comes to a stop at another small station. Once again, no one is seen, no sound, only the flickering glow of a weak lantern bathing the platform in a soft, golden light. The rain has become a fine mist, gently enveloping the earth in a quiet, dreamlike shine. But the train only stays for a moment, as though it too is taking a brief pause before continuing its journey. Clara still sleeps, her face bathed in the gentle light of the carriage. A small smile plays at her lips, as though she is dreaming of something she cannot quite grasp, a memory she thought long forgotten. The train moves on again without haste, without urgency. The sound of the wheels on the tracks is like the gentle beat of a quiet song, written only for this night. As the landscape outside slowly drifts by the windows, the world around the train remains a blurred veil. The trees, the fields, the soft hills, all seem to be wrapped in the darkness, as if they are cloaked in the soft mist of the night. Time seems to lose itself in this moment, becoming something that no longer needs to be counted. The rain now taps lightly on the roof of the train, its soft sound accompanying the travelers in their peaceful sleep. In the flickering lights of the stations that appear every so often, it looks as though the train is moving in an endless circle, ever onward, ever softer, on the waves of rain and night. And so it remains. The train moves on, through the night, through the rain, carried by the calm of its passengers and the gentle motion of the sleep that surrounds them. The world stays still, time stays quiet, and for this moment, everything is exactly where it should be. Time seems to stretch in the darkness of the night, as if it were a delicate, barely tangible veil. The train moves on, and with it, the calm that envelops the travelers. The rain, which has now grown a little stronger, gently taps against the windows, but the sound remains soft and soothing, almost like a whispering lullaby that blankets the night. Clara sleeps deeply, her breathing steady and even. Her face is relaxed, filled with a peacefulness, as if she is completely in harmony with the gentle movement of the train. It seems as though she has become part of this journey, a drifting thought, gliding through the night at the train's own pace. The older gentleman has his eyes closed, hands resting loosely on his knees. His posture is calm, almost meditative, and the faint light coming through the window makes his features appear softer. There is nothing in this moment that could disturb him. Only the train, the rain, and the endless vastness of the night are with him. He seems to be experiencing time in a way that only such moments can allow, unhurried, gentle, and without rush. The landscape outside changes slowly. The trees, the fields, and the hills blur together, as if the train were traveling through a painting that exists only in this hour. The faint light of the stars shines through the clouds, yet it remains delicate and distant, like a secret the night keeps hidden. The conductor walks through the aisle once more. He has almost become part of the train itself, so quiet and natural that he almost goes unnoticed. But his presence is comforting. It's the final moment of reassurance before the passengers sink even deeper into their sleep. Just a little longer. The conductor murmurs softly as he passes Clara. Not much more. He speaks more to himself than to the passengers. Perhaps it is a memory, perhaps a quiet thought rising in the darkness of the night. The train moves on, unstoppable, yet in a way that conveys no sense of urgency. The hours flow into one another. The rain has subsided once again, but the gentle melody remains, like a quiet memory drifting across everything. The sleep in the carriages grows deeper, the heads of the travelers slowly bowing to the side. Some pull their blankets a little tighter around their shoulders. Others breathe even deeper, as if they wish to absorb the stillness of the night. The journey itself is the destination. The path is home. There are no thoughts of the morning, no thoughts of arrival. Only this present hour, the night, the train, the rain, and the soft, soothing calm that connects it all. The night deepens further, and the train glides quietly and relentlessly through the darkness. The trees and hills outside blur together, and the rain, gently tapping against the windows, adds to the magic of this hour. Everything feels like a soft dream, stretching out, expanding until it envelops the entire world. Clara sleeps deeply, her hands resting peacefully in her lap, the blanket lightly pulled over her shoulders. In her tranquil rest, she seems almost connected to the train itself, a part of this slow, steady flow through the night. Her breath is so steady that it feels as though time itself might breathe in harmony with her rhythm. The older gentleman has leaned back even further, his eyes firmly closed, as if he were lingering in a long, undisturbed dream. The darkness surrounding the train holds its own secrets, and he is wrapped in this gentle veil, as though time itself pauses for him. This is a journey with no rush, no questions, simply being. The conductor passes through the carriage again. His footsteps are barely audible, almost a part of the train itself, which has become a living organism. He, too, is part of this night, part of this unstoppable flow, carrying the passengers further along their way. Outside, beyond the windows, the landscape is now almost entirely wrapped in darkness. The rain has eased, but there remains a soft murmur, like a gentle lullaby laid upon the stillness. The lights of distant cities and villages blur into glowing dots on the horizon, which the train leaves further behind. They grow smaller until they vanish completely, and the world remains in a state of quiet and peace. The train moves on, and with it, the reassuring sense of safety. There is no rush, no expectations. The night seems to follow its own laws, where the train is the only element. Calm, steady, a journey without a destination. The travelers have long since fallen into a deep sleep, their heads gently leaning to the side. The gentle motion of the train and the soft tapping of the rain become a melody, carrying them deeper into their dreams. Time slips out of place until it dissolves into a flowing moment of stillness. The rain has finally eased, but the fine moisture still lingers in the air, casting everything in a soft, shimmering glow. The train moves steadily on, its gentle hum the only sound that still breaks the silence of the night. It is a silence so deep that it almost feels tangible, as if it could be touched with one's hands. The trees outside pass by like shadows, their branches swaying in the wind, but the train remains unwavering, gliding smoothly through the night. It feels as though the train is carrying the entire world with it, absorbing every little movement, every sound of the night, and carrying it out into the darkness. Clara has now fallen deeply into her dreams. Her features have softened, and a smile seems to linger on her face, as though she has arrived at a special place in her thoughts, a place of calm, of peace, where everything is in its right place. Perhaps it is a moment of arrival, even though the train itself is still far from its destination. The older gentleman beside her is now completely relaxed. His posture is serene, and the gentle, steady breaths show that he, too, has been swept into the gentle current of sleep. It seems as though the train and the night have given him a sense of comfort and peace, settling him into a state of complete relaxation. The conductor walks through the carriage once more. It is as though he wants to ensure that everything remains perfectly balanced. He glances briefly at the sleeping travelers, then quietly opens the door to look outside. His gaze falls on the endless darkness of the night, occasionally interrupted by the distant lights of a small village or an inconspicuous station. There is no rush, nothing that could disturb the calm pace of this night. At this moment, it almost seems as though time has its own rhythm, one that doesn't need to be counted, but simply flows in harmony with the night. The minutes stretch out and blur together, becoming one single, long moment that asks no questions of when or why. The train moves on, and with it, the feeling of peace and safety. Though the rain has faded, it lives on in the travelers' memories, in their dreams, in the quiet music of the night that flows through them. The train remains a quiet companion on this gentle journey through the darkness, a soft rocking that carries the travelers farther and farther, wherever they may wander in their dreams. The journey continues deeper into the night, and the train glides on, almost weightlessly, through the gentle darkness. The soft sway it creates is like a quiet rocking, gently lulling the travelers further into sleep. The world outside has vanished, leaving only the thoughts, the dreams, and the steady hum of the train. The rain has now fully receded, but there remains a light freshness in the air that keeps everything feeling alive. The sky above is completely overcast, the stars far and unreachable. Yet, there's no need to search for them. The train itself carries everything needed, and the feeling of safety spreads further as it moves through the night. Clara is still trapped in her soft dream, her breathing deep and steady. A nearly imperceptible smile traces her face, as though she's walking in a world filled with love and calm. She doesn't know where the train is taking her, but it seems as though this is the only place she needs to be. The movement of the train, the soft twilight falling into the compartment, everything carries her onward, as if guided by an invisible hand. The older gentleman beside her sleeps deeply, his face filled with peaceful relaxation. He seems completely at one with the night, as though it has wrapped him in its gentle embrace. Perhaps he, too, feels that there is nothing to achieve, no path to find that hasn't already been traveled. The train is enough. The night is enough. The conductor has now finished his rounds and is making his way back to the front of the train. The carriage is now quiet, almost imperceptible. No one speaks. No one moves. Everything is in a state of gentle stillness, as though the entire world has paused for this moment. The train moves on through the darkness. The soft sound of the wheels beneath it occasionally accompanied by a distant, gentle rumble of thunder, creating a melody that carries the travelers in their dreams. It is a song that lays itself in the space around them, without words, finding no end, simply flowing on until time itself fades away. And so, the train glides through the night, accompanied by the soft music of the rain, the gentle rustle of the wheels, and the comforting feeling that all that matters lies right here, right now, in this moment. No morning, no destination, no hurry, only the gentle ride, the peace, and the stillness that seeps through the windows and settles deep in the hearts of the travelers. The train moves on through the darkness, as if floating in a state of perfect tranquility. There is no urge to stop, no hurry to arrive anywhere. Time has completely loosened from the tracks, becoming a gentle stream that winds through the night, with no direction other than its unceasing forward motion. The travelers sleep deeply, each in their own world, yet connected by the same gentle rhythm of the train. Their dreams seem to flow in harmony, as though they are all resting in one large, shared dream. The darkness outside is nearly complete, yet the soft light of the train casts the faces of the travelers in a gentle memory that expands into the space around them. The tracks beneath the train sing their own song. It's a delicate ringing that echoes in the soft tones of the rain. The sounds blend together, creating a gentle melody that settles deeply into the souls of the travelers, calming them further and lulling them into sleep. The conductor quietly returns, looking once more through the carriage. His footsteps are almost imperceptible, as though he is part of the train itself, moving through the night. A final, gentle smile spreads across his face as he sees the peaceful faces of the travelers. No one speaks, no one moves. It is as though the entire train could remain in this moment, suspended in time, forever. The lights of the train reflect in the windows as it continues its journey. The world outside is enveloped in darkness, but here, inside the warm light of the carriage, everything is still, safe, and infinitely far from the troubles of the day. The travelers are held in their dreams, the gentle motion of the train carrying them further, wherever their thoughts may lead them. The train moves on, a constant, gentle rocking that glides through the darkness, as if the night itself is carrying it. The travelers continue to sleep deeply, wrapped in their dreams, as if time has stood still for them. There is no morning awaiting them, no day that will need them when they wake. Everything is quiet, peaceful, and exactly as it should be. The landscape outside has changed. The last remnants of forests and fields are long behind them, and now only a wide, open plain stretches out. The rain has finally ceased, yet the air remains cool and fresh, with a hint of moisture that awakens the senses. The train moves on, and with each soft click of the wheels, the feeling of safety grows, as if the train is carrying the travelers deeper into an untouched, silent world. The lights in the train seem to spread even softer now, the space growing cozier, more inviting. Clara remains in a deep sleep, her face illuminated by a contented smile, as if she has arrived at a special place, a place of peace and calm that only she knows. The older gentleman beside her has pulled his blanket a little tighter around himself, his breath even slower now. A serenity can be read on his face, as if he feels that here, in this train, in harmony with the night, he has arrived at his destination. The conductor walks quietly down the aisle, his steps barely audible, as if he too is in sync with the rhythm of the train. There is nothing left for him to do now. Everything is in harmony. Everything follows its own gentle course. He looks at the sleeping passengers and feels, in some small way, connected to them. This train, they belong to everyone together. The train continues its journey through the wide, silent landscape, interrupted only by the faint lights of a small town or a distant farmhouse, flickering for a moment before fading away, as if even they respect the stillness of the night. And so, the train moves on, carried by the night, the quiet, peaceful night that blankets everything. The travelers sleep, the train moves, and in this moment, time itself seems suspended. There is nothing to worry about. Everything is just as it should be. The train moves on, a constant, gentle rocking that glides through the darkness, as if the night itself is carrying it. The travelers continue to sleep deeply, wrapped in their dreams, as if time has stood still for them. There is no morning awaiting them, no day that will need them when they wake. Everything is quiet, peaceful, and exactly as it should be. The landscape outside has changed. The last remnants of forests and fields are long behind them, and now only a wide, open plain stretches out. The rain has finally ceased, yet the air remains cool and fresh, with a hint of moisture that awakens the senses. The train moves on, and with each soft click of the wheels, the feeling of safety grows, as if the train is carrying the travelers deeper into an untouched, silent world. The lights in the train seem to spread, even softer now, the space growing cozier, more inviting. Clara remains in a deep sleep, her face illuminated by a contented smile, as if she has arrived at a special place, a place of peace and calm that only she knows. The older gentleman beside her has pulled his blanket a little tighter around himself, his breath even slower now. A serenity can be read on his face, as if he feels that here, in this train, in harmony with the night, he has arrived at his destination. The conductor walks quietly down the aisle, his steps barely audible, as if he too is in sync with the rhythm of the train. There is nothing left for him to do now. Everything is in harmony. Everything follows its own gentle course. He looks at the sleeping passengers and feels, in some small way, connected to them. This train, this night, they belong to everyone together. The train continues its journey through the wide, silent landscape, interrupted only by the faint lights of a small town or a distant farmhouse, flickering for a moment before fading away, as if even they respect the stillness of the night. And so, the train moves on, carried by the night, the quiet, peaceful night that blankets everything. The travelers sleep, the train moves, and in this moment, time itself seems suspended. There is nothing to worry about. Everything is just as it should be. The train continues its journey, its wheels gliding effortlessly over the tracks as if dancing to an invisible melody. The steady rhythm, the soft hum of the carriage, lulls the travelers into an even deeper sleep. Everything feels weightless, as if the train has drifted away from the real world, traveling through a space of quiet and darkness, a place where worries cannot reach and time dissolves into gentle waves. Outside, the landscape has changed once more. The vast plains have faded into the distance, and now rolling hills emerge in the far-off shadows, their outlines barely visible against the night sky. The rain has completely stopped, yet the sky remains overcast, heavy with the last remnants of the night. The world seems to be holding its breath, as if it too has drifted into sleep, while the train moves steadily onward. Inside, everything remains the same. The warmth, the soft glow of the lights, the peaceful rhythm of slow, steady breathing. Clara has turned slightly in her sleep, her face serene, as if she is lost in a dream of something beautiful. Perhaps another journey, perhaps a memory unfolding only in sleep. The elderly gentleman beside her continues to rest, his expression peaceful, as if in this night he has found exactly what he was looking for: a place of quiet, a moment of perfect stillness. The conductor, making his final walk through the carriage, pauses for a brief moment. His gaze moves over the faces of the sleeping passengers, and a quiet, contented smile crosses his lips. He knows that this night is special, one of those nights that cannot be held on to, yet remain in memory forever. Not as an event, but as a feeling. The train moves on, steady and unhurried, through the gentle hills, through the last whispers of night. It is not yet time to arrive. The darkness still carries the train, wrapping it in a quiet, dreamlike embrace. The train continues its journey, steady and calm, as if it could glide through this night forever. Outside, the gentle hills take on a clearer shape, as if the first, barely perceptible traces of morning light are hiding within the darkness. But the night is not yet ready to welcome the day. Everything remains wrapped in this dreamlike stillness, a moment suspended beyond time. The travelers remain asleep, lost in their dreams, as the train moves through valleys and past sleeping villages nestled like forgotten stories in the landscape. Somewhere in the distance, a single lantern flickers, its light glowing softly before vanishing once more into the veil of the night. Inside, everything remains just as peaceful. Clara has shifted slightly, her fingers resting gently on the fabric of her sleeve, as if holding onto something precious. A dream, a memory, a feeling. Her breathing is soft and even, and that small, contented smile still lingers on her lips. The elderly gentleman beside her has barely stirred. His blanket still drapes over his shoulders, his face relaxed, as if, in this night, he has found something that had been waiting for him all along. Perhaps it is not a thought, but simply the quiet certainty that all is well, that in this moment, the world is exactly as it should be. The conductor steps to one of the windows, gazing out at the sleeping world. The raindrops have dried, leaving only faint streaks on the glass as a quiet reminder of their passing. He knows that soon the dawn will begin to break, that the first traces of morning light will push through the sky. But not yet. The night still belongs to silence, to the gentle hum of the train, to the stillness that cradles everything in its embrace. He walks slowly onward, his footsteps barely more than a whisper. He looks at the sleeping passengers, and for a fleeting moment, he feels like the guardian of this night, as if it is his task to protect this delicate peace until time itself gently dissolves it. Outside, the horizon begins to brighten, ever so slightly. The light is still faint, nothing more than a silvery trace behind the thick clouds, but it quietly announces that the night will soon retreat. The train continues on, steady and unhurried, unaffected by the passing of time, as though it could remain in this soft darkness forever. Clara stirs just a little and opens her eyes briefly, but only halfway, not yet ready to let go of sleep. For a moment, she listens to the gentle rocking of the train, the quiet rustling of the seats, the distant murmur of wheels against the tracks. It is a comforting sound, a safe sound, a deep breath, a slight turn of her head, and she drifts back into sleep, just in time to stay in the embrace of this night a little longer. The elderly gentleman sighs softly in his sleep, as if he too wishes to hold onto the night for just a moment more, as if he has found something in its stillness that he is not yet ready to release. His face remains peaceful, his hands resting quietly in his lap. The conductor takes one last look at the carriage before turning away. He knows that soon the first passengers will begin to stir, that the quiet murmurs of morning will begin, that someone will stretch and blink at the world outside. But not yet. The night still holds this train gently in its hands, and there is no reason to disturb the steady rhythm, the deep and even breathing of those who sleep. The train moves on, still through the darkness, still through the quiet of this night, and for one final moment, it feels as if it will travel like this forever.